Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining. We'll get started in a few minutes. We'll allow a few people, more people to attend. We will get started shortly. Thank you for joining. While folks are joining, I think we'd like to gauge your familiarity with DTEN orbit. So I'm going to launch a quick poll to just gauge your familiarity. We're going to see how much everybody knows about DTEN orbit. Oh, look at the numbers. I'll share the numbers shortly. We'll allow about 2 more minutes to get people in the door and answer the poll. All righty. Thank you everyone for joining today's webinar, Exploring DTEN Orbit. My name is Heather Leakins, and I am the head of marketing at DTEN. On your panel, we have Chris Fortuna, who's the head of customer success and support at DTEN, and Kim Bohr, who is our customer success manager and DTEN Orbit guru. I'm going to share the results for the poll while we're here. On today's agenda, we're going to get to know DTEN Orbit. We're going to get to know mission control and mission control for IT. We're going to go over Orbit audio, DTEN Orbit SIM reporting, partner management, Orbit Connect, powered by PEXIP, and a live demo.
Heather, can you share the slides, please?
A moment.
They're sharing.
I'm sharing. All right, get to know DTEN Orbit. Chris Fortuna.
Thanks, appreciate it. If you don't mind advancing to the next slide.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. So yes, at DTEN you hear the word orbit a lot. What is orbit? Is orbit a SKU that you can order? Is orbit a license? Is orbit a platform? Is orbit a portal? And the answer is yes. It's all those things. So hopefully we can break it down a little bit further for you here. So the Orbit portal and Orbit platform is DTEN's device management tool. We feel like it's more than a device, just a device management tool. There's a tremendous amount of features that are built in, and there's some proprietary DTEN tools that are part of that platform and part of that tool. Orbit is also a license. Every device that DTEN sells comes with a basic Orbit license. So with that, you can get access to this portal. You can do some basic device management, health monitoring, firmware updates, some diagnostics and repair, and that's all included with your basic Orbit license. We also have a Pro license, and there's multiple facets to that Pro license. There is essentially an upgrade to the manufacturer's warranty. So with your Orbit Pro license, it's extended hardware assurance with advanced parts replacement. So now, not that it happens often, but if it does happen, that you need to replace a device or a component of a device, with your Pro license, you're going to get an advanced parts replacement, and that extended hardware assurance will last for the duration of that license. Also, with the entitlement of that Orbit Pro license is enhanced customer support. So you have access to our engineers 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. We also have priority queuing. So not just service level objectives associated with response times, but response times, total resolution targets, update intervals for critical tickets. Those are all things that are unlocked with that Orbit Pro license. Also, with your Orbit Pro license, you unlock the advanced features that have been developed and that are continuing to be developed. So the roadmap of future capabilities all become available to you with the Orbit Pro license. And we are going to talk about the new features that we've just recently introduced with that license today. So again, yes, Orbit is the platform and the portal that DTEN makes available to customers so that they can manage their devices. And the Orbit Pro license is the license type that unlocks these 3 areas of entitlement that you see: the extended assurance with advanced part replacement, the enhanced support and service level objectives, and all the advanced features that we've developed. I think we move to the next slide. So just as a summary of what you get with the Orbit Pro, just essentially what I just talked about, right? You've enhanced the manufacturer warranty. You've unlocked the remote device update and system monitoring, the mission control capabilities where DTEN engineers can remote into the device and in most cases remediate most issues without you even being involved. We'll be talking about the new features today: Orbit Mission Control for IT, Orbit Audio, third-party audio, Orbit SIM reporting, and the rest of this stuff. This is more of a leave behind for you, so you have some reference to the capabilities and the entitlements of Orbit Pro. Next slide, Heather. And we just another leave behind so that you can, and a good graphic representation of what's available with basic versus a pro license. And we do also offer an enterprise license, which really unlocks the, if you think about it, Orbit Basic, that's really self-serve. Orbit Pro is assisted support, still mostly reactive. In the world of enterprise, we've got some flexibility for our enterprise accounts where we're doing proactive remediation and system management for our customers. And this is another good reference chart, leave behind, so that you can see the differences in the licenses that we have. Okay, mission control. So yeah, what started out as a pretty basic operation tool for DTEN, what we found is it offers great flexibility and a really what we feel is an awesome customer experience. In that Orbit portal where all your devices live, and you're in there, you can configure your devices, you can create groups, you can organize things the way that that best suit your needs. That's also where you can open up tickets with our support organization. Part of that ticketing workflow, you can authorize DTEN engineers to remotely diagnose and remediate problems for you. And so we've built that into the ticket creation workflow. You get to choose a window. You can give specific instructions on how you want us to use that. It's built off a web and a WebRTC, essentially it's peer-to-peer and it's token based. So it's extremely secure. We've got a lot of controls in there. If at any time somebody in front of the device wants to end that mission control session for whatever reason, that capability is there. But we designed it for minimal latency and maximum security, and ultimately as a tool for you to report issues to DTEN and ideally have those remediated with minimal interaction by your IT staff or your end users. So based off of that and talking to resellers and talking to customers, we frequently heard like, hey, that's a really great tool. We like what you do with mission control. Is there any way you could extend that to us? And that's what we are currently having beta right now. We expect to have this released within the next 30 to 60 days for generally available use. And essentially what it does is it allows your team to get those mission control capabilities. So from your Orbit portal, you can now remote into devices and do whatever you can use it to manage break fix issues, collect data. You can use it to diagnose issues. You can even essentially use it to be an admin, and it's as if you're sitting in front of the device, and anything you could do on that device if you were sitting in front of it, you could do with Orbit Mission Control for IT. So a lot of interesting use cases that are available to you. As I said, it's in trials right now. We've got close to 20 customers that have been testing it, and the feedback's been really, really positive. And Kim, I don't know if that's part of the demo today or not, but if I don't want to sign you up for something that's not part of the demo, but really excited about this feature. It's one of my favorite. Should go ahead and advance to the next third-party audio. So Windows, yeah, that's not necessarily been an issue with Windows devices. Well, I guess let me start by if you're familiar with DTEN technology, I was surprised that there was really even a need for extensible audio. My experience with the devices are the microphones, the cameras, the speakers are exceptional, even for really for large spaces. But we have had use cases and certain scenarios where customers would like to use third-party audio devices. So what Orbit Audio does is, again, with your Pro license, it'll unlock the USB and give us the ability to whitelist devices for you. Again, this is for the Android devices specifically. Two solutions that we've currently we're supporting are Audio Technica and Shure. We have over 20 different devices that we've whitelisted and that we have been in various stages of testing with customers. So Essentially, with that Orbit Pro license, you can unlock the capability of third-party audio, and there are a set of devices that are on a that are supported, and there's several more that are on a support path. And of course, if there's a device that we haven't tested yet, with this tool, you can we can work with you to whitelist the device that you want and collect feedback and get that working for you.
All righty. Thanks, Chris. With that, we're going to hand it over to Kim Bohr to discuss DTEN Orbit SIM reporting.
Okay, so SIM reporting, for those of you who are not familiar with this, that is a security information and event management. So this is a tool that was designed here in the last year. We have just a couple of customers who are using it. They're global customers. They have a large reach across all regions, APAC, EMA, and the United States. And what they really wanted was to help their security and information team keep track of who's logging into Orbit and give it kind of that extra level of security so that they can see what's happening. With this, you can go ahead and set up some event logging. You can get email alerts. You can go ahead and configure the settings. So if you have a range of IP addresses that are the only IP addresses that should be allowed to connect into this and see what's happening with your devices, you can set that up. And then you can see the service activity records. You can see the alerts here. There's an image of what you would normally see when something is happening. So if this is something you're interested in, please feel free to reach out and we can go ahead and get that set up for you. It is something, like I said, that no issues with any of the couple of customers that are using this. It's just been started in the last few months. So not a lot of people have asked for it, but I think it is important that everybody knows about it. We've not promoted it well enough. So we wanted to make sure that everyone was aware it's out there to be used, and let me know. All right, next slide. So the Orbit Service Partner, I'm going to go ahead and show you a demonstration of this as well, but I think it's important to know that you as a customer should set up your Orbit account, enter your devices in there, and then if you have a partner that you're working with that you want them to help you enter tickets, you want them to help you manage your devices, keep track of your Orbit licensing so that when it's expiring, they can see that, you can invite your partner in. So you're going to have your Orbit account as the end user owning the devices. Your partner's going to have their own account, and then you're going to invite them in to view your devices. When they're looking at your devices, they're going to see you as customer ABC only. They'd have to switch to look at customer XYZ's devices. So they would be focused solely on your devices, and they can go ahead and enter those support tickets. They can keep you informed of what's happening with the Orbit licenses. They can check if something's offline. They can do some troubleshooting that way, and then work directly with our support team if that's necessary. And like I said, we'll go through a little demo of that as well. So Orbit Connect powered by PEXIP is something that is very new. We just recently started this as well. So what we're doing is we're working with the PEXIP team, and this allows you to have a fully functioning features when you are on a Zoom board. So if you have your device set up as Zoom or as Team, when you're connecting to the opposite, you're going to be able to use those full features. Many of us have joined a Teams meeting from Zoom, where you can't use your background that you're used to having. You can't do whiteboarding. It's harder to share things. You just can't do those things that you want to be able to do. And your customers, if you're meeting with them on the far end, know that you're not on Teams. When you join a Zoom board, or when you join via a Zoom board that's licensed as a Zoom room to a Teams meeting using PEXIP, you're going to have all the full features. You can use your background, you can do the whiteboarding, you can share. The person on the far end is not going to realize that you didn't join via Teams, that you actually are in a Zoom room and powering that device by the Zoom license. They're not going to know any different because it's all going to look like it's Teams on the far end. So it is something that if you're interested in, please feel free to reach out to your account executive or to the success team, and we'll get you connected with the right people, and we can start talking about how that can enhance your meetings with your end users, both internally and externally. Okay, we're going to do a demo next. So I'm going to share my screen. And I had not planned on doing a demo of Orbit Mission Control, but Chris asked, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. So
Sorry.
no, that's all right. That's all right. So I am in Orbit. This is my live Orbit account. So I'm going to connect to one of our devices that we have in our office in San Jose. So you'd
Yeah,
search for
I'm
device.
sorry. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. Just for the benefit of those who haven't seen Orbit before, maybe this is their first look at Orbit. Would you mind just kind of going through the sections that you see over there on the left?
I'm going to do that next because I'm going to go to the demo account where I don't have live devices.
Okay, gotcha.
So I'm gonna skip around here a little bit and we'll go through that. So
Okay.
I'm gonna do this one first because I need to do this from my live account.
Gotcha.
So I've specifically searched for in this box up here on the left for the O2 DTEN experience. And so then I'm going to click on that under the device name. And here you can see the device profile, settings, and mission control. If you don't have access to mission control on a specific device or on your account at all you would see here is device profile and settings. So when I click on mission control, you can see here it says it's only available with the OMC client installed. And so fingers crossed here that my internet's going to support this today. So I click on connect, and now it's reaching out to that device and it's going to load the Orbit Mission Control client. So this is perfect. First thing you see at the top of this screen is that it says remote service in progress. A DTEN technician is servicing this device under the request or approval of your account administrator. You can stop the service at any time. All the person in that room would have to do is walk up and hit that stop service, and it would end my session with this. So anytime, whether it's our DTEN technicians through Orbit or through Orbit Mission Control or Orbit Mission Control for IT, anybody in that room is going to be able to walk up and say, nope, I'm in this room and I don't want you to see or hear what I'm doing, and stop that service. So as Chris mentioned earlier as well, one of the things that you can do is you can start the meeting. So if there was an error message on this that you need to troubleshoot or you need to grab some screenshots of to give to our support team, you could certainly do that now. You'd see those messages here. But one of the things that you can also do is start those meetings for those people on the far end that maybe struggle with meetings and getting things started. So with this, I can start the meeting. You can see here that I can start the AI. I can turn that on here. I can turn it off. I can go ahead and start the whiteboard from here, the AI companion that we were just talking about. You've got more here. So there's camera controls. You can start chat. I can record transcripts, all of the things that you have when you start a meeting from your board in your room. This is what you're going to be able to do from here. Chris, anything else that you want me to bring up while I have this here?
No, but you could just see that we've moved into a new headquarters office, and it's sparsely decorated, but we're working on that. That's the DTEN headquarters in San Jose, California.
One of the things to remember when you're doing this is that if you start a meeting and you're not starting it for an end user, but you're starting it for troubleshooting, is that you actually need to end the meeting before you leave. If you don't end the meeting, it's going to show that it's still happening there and that something is going on, and you're not going to be able to reconnect until somebody actually physically goes into that room and turns that meeting off or times out because of Zoom or Teams. And then to disconnect, I'm just going to connect or push the button at the bottom, and that's where we're at. So when I go back to this, you're going to see that this is busy now. And that's busy because I just got out of that meeting that I had started in there. So it's going to show busy. If this shows busy or offline, I'm not going to be able to connect to that in the beginning. And because this is live, I'm going to go ahead and show you here as well that the OS version is currently on 3.9.0. There is a 3.9.2 that's available. So I'd be able to click on update here. And with that, you can see what's happening with that upgrade and what you could expect when you do that. So I'm going to sign out of this and get to my demo account so that I can go through some more features that we have. So when you log in, you're going to come to the dashboard here. You can see that we have an app that's waiting an update. There's some devices that are online, 5 of them. I've got 4 that are offline. I've got 4 on basic licenses. At the bottom, there's a graph where you can look at the devices with the lowest or the highest usage as well. You can go ahead and pick the dates that you want to use. If you want to see what was used that first week or so, you can do that, or just a couple of days, you can do that as well. And those charts will change in the live view. Device management on the far left is where you're going to spend the majority of your time. So device list is where I was at when I was searching for that device to bring up the Orbit Mission Control for IT to show you. So I'd go in there, and then that's where I would just search for whatever device I'm looking for. So when I click on Kim, the only thing that has Kim in the title here is this DTEN Me. And that's how you can find that. If you have a long list of several hundred devices or whatnot, renaming them will make that search much easier. If you have a global presence, you can go ahead and search by location. You can also search by product. If you want to look at all of your D7X devices, you could do that. If you wanted to look at, the bars, you could do so as well. You can also search by Android or Windows systems. You can also search by what's online or offline. So if you wanted to see all of the devices that are offline, it's going to show me those 4. So I can look and see where those are located and know where they're at. I am just going to pick the DTEN Me. This is an Android device. And with this, you can see mission control, settings, and device profile, just like what you saw in the live version. You can see here, again, there's another app version that could be upgraded. This is on a really old version of Zoom. And again, this is a demo, so even if I clicked on it, nothing's going to happen. But that little circle with the white arrow, that's where you're always going to find the upgrades. And you can go ahead and click those. If the room is in a meeting and it's busy, it's not going to upgrade. It will go ahead and push that upgrade after the fact. So once the system is no longer busy, it'll push whatever updates are needed. If it's in a 24-hour meeting, it's not going to upgrade then until the next day. So if you have those all-day events scheduled on that calendar that's tied to that device, you may need to actually sign out of that calendar and then go ahead and push the updates, and then you can sign back in. You can rename devices to whatever you want. You can keep some consistency in your naming between ZDM and Orbit if you like. You can go ahead and edit where the location is for the different devices. And then you can reassign it. So this one is assigned to the DTEN owner account. I could go ahead and pick out someone new who's on this. So this could go to a member account instead. And so when that member signed in, they would be able to see the device under their Orbit account. I could also assign it to a group if I like. Under settings, because this is an Android device, there are a few more things than what you would see under a Windows device. So I'll show you the difference of that here in just a couple minutes, but you can go ahead and set the output volume so that that stays where you want it to be. And then device room languages, there's a couple different languages you can look at as well. It's available on the latest version of 1.20. The screen. So if you want your screen to go into a sleep mode when you're not using it, I use my Mi Pro constantly. I am connected to it right now for this webinar. But when I'm not using it, if say I'm on vacation or, I go to lunch, I come back, my screen is black. And so once I touch my mouse and start my computer again, which is always connected to it here at home, then I can go ahead and my screen will just automatically come right up just like you would expect. It helps save on the lifespan of the device. If you're having some issues with a device and you want to do a factory reset or restart the device, as long as the device is online, you can go ahead and do so. If there's just issues with the microphone, camera, or touch screen, you can go ahead and reboot each of those individually here as well. Now, when you get into the networking, the NTP server, those types of things are part of the paid licenses that we were talking about with the Orbit Pro. So I don't have Orbit Pro assigned to this here in this demo, but when you look at something in here, you can see at the top here, this is a brighter green. When I hover over it, it says reboot. When I hover over edit, nothing happens here. And then I can look at the little circle to the right and it's going to tell me why. Maybe I'm on the wrong version of firmware. Maybe I need an Orbit license. And then once you either upgrade or to the latest firmware, or you upgrade your license to Orbit Pro, you're going to have the ability to look at the different things that are happening here on the devices and make changes. The dashboard menu, this disables the 3-finger swipe. If it's turned on, which is automatically enabled when you first come up to it, and turn it on. Inclusive view is something that is available on the Mi Pro as well, but it needs to be on a newer version of firmware. So that's on the Mi Pros. For those of you who are familiar, there's 3 cameras. And so if you have a table and you have a person on each side and one on the end, you want to be able to bring the people in on the sides and give more of a forward facing view. It'll go ahead and give everybody kind of that Brady Bunch look as you're seeing the people on the far end from the camera. I'm going to go back to the device list and find a Windows device, just so you can see that there are a few differences. So again, the device profile, you can rename it, you can assign it, you can put it in a group, you can edit where it's located. Those are all going to be the normal that you're going to see on this page. The settings, because this is Windows and you can do so many different changes on a Windows device naturally, it's just built in. We lock it down to the specifications of Zoom and Teams, but there's lots of things that you can enable on the Windows system on the back end from your side once you get it in your hands. So there's not so much that you're going to be able to do here with the networking. You just don't need to, because it's a Windows device, it's not Android. But you can see here the HDMI source. If you want that to connect automatically for BYOD, you can turn that on. The resolution is here as well. Camera refresh, zoom in levels, you can lock the dashboard. Restarting the device, as we talked about earlier, you can restart it or reboot those components of microphone, camera, and touchscreen. Device groups. So as the owner of this, I can go ahead and create groups. So I would just click on the green button in the upper right-hand corner, and I could add a group name and the description, and then I assign the administrators that I want to have access to that. One thing with our groups is that there's one level with the group. So, you got Lynn's test group, you got Fortuna Sandbox on here. If I created Kim's group and assigned some devices to that, those groups can't go any less than that. So if I wanted to do like the United States and New York City, I would either have to have United States or New York City. I can't have both. Where in Zoom, I believe you can do that down to even buildings. So we are not equal in Zoom that way into Orbit, but you can definitely set the groups to whatever levels you want and add those devices. If you have multiple admins and you want that admin to have access to all of the groups, then what you would do is you can either A, assign them to everything, or B, assign them to nothing, and they'll be able to see all of the groups. If you have specific admins that you only want them to see what's in the United States, and this one should only see what's in APAC, and this one should only see what's in EMA, then you will assign them to those specific groups. They will not be able to see new devices that are added until they're actually added to those groups, which is why you need those admins that have the ability to see everything in all of the groups. We're going to go to tenant settings here. I think this is an important one to cover because this is your tenant-wide settings. So this means all of your DTEN devices that have the ability to have these features are going to be affected by any changes that you make in here. So when you have, again, the little gray circle with the question mark, this is where it's going to tell you what devices are going to be affected by this. So this audio settings are on the D7X Android 1.6.5 or later. And if you want to set that default speaker volume, then you would turn that on, and then you're going to see the volume bar here, and you can adjust that to wherever you want it. Orbit Audio, again, this is what Chris had talked about a little bit earlier. This is to be able to add the speakers and microphone to the D7X Android or to the D10 bar, which is also our Android platform. And again, it's going to tell you what version of firmware you need and what microphones and partners we've been working with here. Camera settings are inclusive zone. This is in beta testing with our D7X Windows. We talked about it just a little bit briefly with the Mi Pros because it is available on that. But with our D7X, it's on the Windows version 3.9.1 or newer. And that is for our single screens only, not for the duals at this point. So that is in beta testing. I did have a customer at one point who their security team came to them and said, We want to have a PIN set for all of the devices so that nobody can just walk into a room and start using the DTEN devices, and not just DTEN. It was going to be, you know, throughout their entire tenant, no matter what type of device it was. And because we had the ability to set up a PIN on each device already, they could have done that, but it wasn't at a tenant level. It was on each individual device. So when you're talking about 500 devices, that's 500 different PIN numbers. So they wanted to be able to come in and set their PIN number, and I'm just going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hopefully they didn't use that, but when they set it at the tenant level, they can go ahead and share that with the people who need it at their offices. And then when they change that, they can go ahead and share it with the people that they need to again. But you have the ability to walk from your New York office to your New Jersey office to your Boston office at that point then, and walk into any room and know what that PIN number is, versus trying to keep a spreadsheet of what PIN numbers are for everything and sharing that out with everybody. The BYOD prompt for the Teams room, again, this is in beta testing. It's available on the bar and the Android D7X, and you've got the firmware versions here. So when you connect your computer, it's going to prompt you to say, do you want this as BYOD or screen sharing in the Teams room? Auto updates, you can go ahead and enable that. This has been a feature that we've had for a long time. You can either go ahead and schedule that for what time and when it should happen, or you can disable that. So however you prefer to do that, or whatever your policy states. Email notifications have been available as well for a while. We talked about that the last time we had this last summer, I believe. So you can go ahead and set up email alerts, and you can combine those to come, you know, once every hour, 3 hours, or up to once a day there. Something new that we have that we did not have the last time we had this conversation was the power saving management. So again, when you click on that, it's going to tell you what devices. I want to clarify that you have sleep settings in Zoom if you're using that, or TAC if you're using Teams. And if you're using it in one of those two settings, please do not use it in Orbit as well. Leave it disabled here. I want you to use it in one or the other, but not both. And here it's only available for the D7X devices and the bar. So if you have our older devices, you're not going to be able to put them into a sleep mode from here. This is strictly for our newer devices. And going forward, we'll make sure that that's enabled for those devices. You can go ahead and set your standby mode. So you can set the hours when that's here. Your sleep mode as well. If the device hasn't been used for a while, you'd put it into sleep mode after 30 minutes if you want. The deep sleep mode, this one I like to caution people about. If you put it into a deep sleep mode and you have email notifications set up here, every time you're getting these alerts every hour or couple hours until that device wakes up, you're going to get that alert. You're also going to get that alert in Zoom, and I believe TAC as well, if you have it set up, so that any of those notifications when a device is offline, you're going to see that. It will not wake up. You cannot wake it up from Orbit until that device is scheduled to wake up or somebody walks in that room. So it truly is a deep sleep mode, which will definitely save on the lifespan of your devices and on the screen. But it is also going to tie your hands in what your ability to work on that device is going to be. User management, this is where you're going to see the owner, admin, and member. So that's the 3 people that I have in this demo account. The owner can go ahead and invite people, the admin can invite people, and the member is extremely limited in what they can actually see. Because I'm logged in as the owner, I can come in here and I can edit the roles, because there's only this one admin, that's all you're seeing, but I can go ahead and click on add administrator, and I could make this member an admin, and I just click add, and then on the screen back here, you would see them as an admin instead of a member. You can also reset passwords or deactivate accounts when people leave your company. Account management, this is where you're going to see the account information. So you should know what all of this is already. If, however, you had set this up with an email of someone who is leaving your company, you can go ahead and invite the new account in. Maybe it's an admin already, and you can go ahead and change the owner of the account here yourself. If for some reason someone leaves your account company and you do not have their access to log into their accounts for Orbit, you can go ahead and reach out to our team, and we just need it in writing, and we'll go ahead and get that changed over for you. Security, this is where you're going to have single sign-on. That again requires an Orbit Pro license. Once that's attached to your account, our team can enable that for you on the back end. and then you can get it set up. This is the alerts events, alert configuration, and the service activity. So this is what we talked about with the theme. Support, you can go ahead and enter a support ticket from here by clicking on add ticket. And again, this is a small account for me, so anything with the red asterisk, you're going to have to go ahead and fill in, including the DTEN ID. So I'm going to show you where else you can add this, because from here with, the few devices that I have in this account, I can go ahead and easily find what device it is. This is the mission control that Chris talked about. So I want to go ahead and authorize the DTEN team to go ahead and connect to that device and try and do some troubleshooting. So I can go ahead and change these dates and times to whatever window I want to give them, and then just click on add after I've added all of the description up above. Now, most of you don't have just 1 or 2 devices. So the easiest way to enter a support ticket is to find the device that you want. And on the far right side of the screen, you're going to scroll over, and what you're looking for is the 3 dots on the far right. And you're going to click on ticket. And this is automatically going to fill in that DTEN ID so that you don't have to keep scrolling through your 50, 100, 200, or a couple thousand devices, whatever it is that you have, to find that. And this is where you can go ahead and then change the different things that you have questions on. The product is going to automatically backfill because that is the me that I have there. And then the subject, you can go ahead and attach pictures. You can go ahead and attach a video as well. Again, authorizing that mission control, and then the ticket will get submitted once you hit add. You can manage those tickets from the support section as well. So any old tickets that are here, if I find that, issues with the microphone, go ahead and go back to the details that were on that ticket. And, oh yeah, that's what I did to fix it. So then you can go ahead and try that again. And then if it still doesn't fix it, you could go ahead and say, hey, I tried what we did in ticket number 123. Partner management is the other part of this that I wanted to share with you. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what this looks like. So I'm in the end user account. Under account profile, when you as a customer log in and you want to invite your partner in, I'm going to invite in a partner as well. So I have the account number that they have given me, and I hit enter. And then I'm going to confirm that that's who I want to see. And then I have a device list here. So I can select all of these. I can unselect one if I don't want them to have the bar. Maybe that's in an important room, that's in the boardroom. I don't want them to have access to that, whatever it might be. I can go ahead and give them standard access, or I can go in and decide, yep, I don't want them to have group management. I don't know why you wouldn't want it, but you can go ahead and unselect whatever you don't want them to have access to here. And then you can click on next. And then read the service agreement and click on confirm. And then that invitation is going to be sent to that partner. So you can see here that it's not been started on the other side. You can view what you gave them access to. I'm going to sign out and go back in as a partner so that you can see what that looks like from the partner view. So partners, as you're logging into Orbit and you're seeing that your customer has said that they've invited you in, you're going to click it, log in, and you're going to see you got device management, you got user management, device list. So there's no devices here. You can click on add devices if you have your own and add that. But as you're looking at it from the partner side of things and you're looking for that new agreement, this is where you're going to come in and you're going to look at this. And you're going to be like, yep, this one just got started. Today's the date. It got sent on 7/23. And you can review the permissions. So you can look at the different devices and what's happening, what they gave me access to. You can agree or you can reject it. If you reject it, then the customer needs to go back in and resubmit this to you again. But if you accept it and click on confirm, then you're going to be able to go to your customer list. And in your customer list, this is where you're going to be able to switch. So you can only see one customer's devices at a time. So when I go back up to device management and device list, I showed you earlier that there weren't any devices. This is where you're going to see those devices. So you can see everything except for that bar that I just had up on that last screen. If I want to submit a ticket, I can certainly do so. I can do that from, I can scroll over to the right. I can do that from the 3 dots here. I can restart the device. I can assign it to a group or assign it to a user. I can also switch customer list. So if I want to go to the other customer list, I confirm that here. And then I'm going to see the devices that are on Kim's account versus the demo account that I just set up. That is a really high level overview of what's happening inside of Orbit. I think the only other thing that I missed talking to you about when I was in the demo or in the regular owner account was adding devices, which is kind of important. And I want to make sure and highlight that was under device management and device list. You can add devices. So as you have people on site, going ahead and adding those, you can create these keys. So as you take the device out of the box, you plug it in, you're connecting it to the Wi-Fi, you've chosen whether you want Teams or Zoom. If it's an Android device, it's one of our windows, then you're just going to have Zoom as a choice. And then it's going to say, do you want to add this to your Orbit account? You can go ahead and share these codes, and you can just go ahead and enter those codes as it's being set up. You can email them to multiple people, just separate it with a comma at the bottom, and that way they can have it on their phone or on their computer as they're doing so at a remote location as well. So I will stop sharing. Any questions?
We do have a Q&A.
Kim, yeah, I saw it. It looks like we've been answering the questions in the chat kind of in real time, and I just saw a question come up from Jerry. He was it looks like there was a question about the rules-based access control within Orbit. And Kim was touching on that in the demo, but I think you might have went through it pretty quickly. So there's the user, there's the admin, and then there's the owner. The rules, so access control, it's pretty flat right now. We do have those 3 tiers. Kim, unless, correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct. It's just those 3.
Right. And then the capabilities that those 3 roles have, what can you describe that a little bit?
Sure. So the member has the least amount of access. I'm going to start there first. So I, as an admin or an owner of the account, would assign the user to certain devices. So when that member signs in, all they are going to see is is the actual device that's assigned to them. The admin is going to see the groups that they are assigned to, and the owner sees everything, create groups, and can assign admins to whatever groups. Now I see here that specifically
sorry, I'll just interrupt. Jerry just gave a little more clarity on it. Yep. So I think he's in the realm of Orbit Service Partner. I think he's maybe looking for some granular control of can he assign a particular individual to manage a particular customer. So Bill, he wants to manage Acme Company, and maybe Klaus, he wants to manage a different company. Do we have? Yeah.
Yeah, at this point, we don't have that ability. So what I would recommend is that you would possibly create a couple of different accounts. And then Susie can have access to this one, Klaus can have access to that one, and Jerry, you'd have access to whatever companies that you need. So it's something that we can definitely ask if there's the ability to change those access for the different users as a partner. But right now, as a partner, if you do want to have access to your customers list, what I need you to do is actually set up your Orbit account, and then we actually need to enable you. So there is a level of security in this that we need to know who our partners are that are going to have access to their customers' accounts. The customers obviously are going to invite you in and give you that access, but you're not going to be able to do that until you've already notified us that, hey, I'm a partner and I want to have access to my customers' Orbit accounts. And once we've enabled that on the back end for you, then you can go ahead and share your account number with your customers, and they will be able to invite you in.
Yeah, and again, Jerry, if you're not using Orbit Service Partner already and would like to, I'd recommend just reach out to us. We'll get you set up for it. even if you wanted to play around with it, and if you don't have a real customer that you wanted to manage, but you wanted to try it out, we could do that. The Orbit team, we iterate on these things very quickly. And we are currently we're looking at, that whole schema for RBAC. And so would love to get your feedback on what would work best for you. So roadmap wise, we're basically, if you think about it's like a role creator. So rather than having these three canned, predefined roles, what we are developing, what we would like to extend to you is the ability for you to create a role. You create that role, you name that role, you have a menu list of capabilities that you could pick for that role, and then you can assign people into that role. So that's what we're currently developing, and we would definitely and that would be available, obviously, not just for Orbit Service Partner, but for just the Orbit accounts in general. But definitely would like to get you on using the tool and get your feedback and help us influence that.
And any of the partners that are using Orbit Partner Portal already, if there is some feedback from you, then like Chris was just saying, definitely let us know. Just not the people who haven't started using it, the people who are definitely using it. We want to hear back from you and the customers. We want to hear your feedback so that we can enhance that roadmap and the product itself and make things much better for everybody.
All right, it looks like those are our questions for the day. Thank you for attending, everybody. If you have any additional questions or would like a one-on-one live demo with Kim, just email success@dten.com and she'll get you scheduled for a live demo.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
All right, take care.